Hey guys, what's up? Alec back with the daily stock market and not much movement on Friday. Very choppy week going on. But this new week is one of the most anticipated earning releases of the new year so far and of the earning season as a whole. We have Apple, Amazon, Facebook, big oil companies. We have MasterCard, AMD, Starbucks, JetBlue, UPS, and many more reporting this week. So all eyes are on earnings this week, especially on Thursday after the close, because that's when you have Apple, Meta, and Amazon. Two of the biggest companies reporting in the same day, Apple and Amazon. But in this video, we're going to go over the entire week. So let's start it off strong with Monday before the open. Now, before we get into SoFi, just drop a big thumbs up on this video, subscribe on YouTube with post notifications, and share this video with a friend. So first up, we have SoFi reporting before the market even opens on Monday, so it's too late to do anything. As the market opens on a Monday, SoFi will already be reacting to the news of earnings. So moving on from Monday into Tuesday before the open, we have Pfizer, GM, UPS, JetBlue, Marathon. Marathon's going to be an interesting one because it can be an indicator of big oil, the other big oil companies reporting on Friday. So it's a good one to keep your eye on, specifically for Tuesday. JetBlue is another good one because we already had some airline earnings reporting. Moving over to Tuesday after the close, we have AMD. AMD is also very interesting because Nvidia is reporting next month, which is around 30 days from now. So it could give us a little bit of insight on Nvidia stock, and Nvidia stock can move a little bit because of AMD. After that, it gets a little bit more interesting on Tuesday because we have Microsoft and Alphabet, which is Google.com or Google, both reporting on the same day. Then we have Starbucks. So in this video, we'll dive a little bit into Microsoft and Alphabet. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into Microsoft and Google. So make sure you're sticking around throughout the full video so you can hear some updates on those earnings specifically. Moving over to Wednesday before the open, we have Boeing, MasterCard, Phillips, another oil company. Wednesday after the close, the only significant company we have is Qualcomm. Moving over to Thursday, the big day before the open, Royal Caribbean, a cruise line ship. Peloton, an exercise company. But then we move over to the part of earnings that everyone cares about, which is Apple and Amazon and Facebook reporting after the close on Thursday. That's going to be very interesting to see how they're reporting. And then Friday, we have oil companies like ExxonMobil, Chevron, the two biggest oil companies. Okay, so let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into what people want to know about AMD, and then next we'll be going over Google stock. So make sure you stay throughout the full video so you could hear about that. So first up, AMD stock. We already talked about it in a previous video. We also talked about Nvidia, and long story short, it's a very bullish stock that analysts really believe in and they really can get behind, especially because we see their earnings growing and growing and growing, especially in the last 3 quarters. And AMD is not as good of an example, but if you look at Nvidia, the last 3 quarters of earnings growth has been exceptional. Okay, they've been gaining consistently, and they've also been beating expectations, which are the 2 recipes for success in the stock market when it comes to earnings. Also, for long-term investors, you're going to want to be tracking AMD stock for their earnings and watching how they perform, because it's going to give you more confidence in holding their stock for long term, especially if they can keep growing their earnings. The most important thing for any company in the stock market, I don't care if they're large cap, small cap, medium cap, if they're growing their earnings consistently quarter over quarter for the next 12 to 24 months, they're going to be a bullish stock and you're going to be making money. That's what the stock market cares about right now. If you want to pull up Nvidia earnings here, I'll go ahead and do it for you. We can see that Q1 2024, as it's tracked by on this graph here, we can see earnings was closer to 50 cents, and quarter after quarter after quarter growth, just 3 quarters, it's up closer to $3 to $4 on earnings. Okay, so that's super bullish. That's the reason why the stock has taken off the way it has, because nobody's growing their earnings like that and also beating the estimates at the same time. Now, if we go back to AMD, this could be interesting because AMD could be the next one for a setup to grow into a $3 EPS, a $2 EPS, which is going to be very bullish for the stock over the next 12 to 24 months. So if we just look at some of these headlines, we can kind of get a grasp of what's going on. UBS is doubling down on AMD stock. AMD gets another upgrade, why the stock could quadruple. AMD's customers begin receiving the first Instinct new AI GPU. So needless to say, it should be a bullish earning. Analysts are bullish overall, but anything can happen on earnings. And if you're betting on earnings, it's almost like gambling, especially if you're not in a proven group with success. So if you want to join my stock market family and some of the stock market success we've been having in the last 12 to 24 months, even longer, we've been doing it for a super long time now, click on success number 9, click on success number 8, read through all these positive testimonials. There's thousands of students now who have experienced success with the group, and it goes back a long time. We've been doing it for years and years now. But now let's talk about Google. So we have time in this video. Up 7% in the last month, up 23% in the last 3 months. So it's been doing very well in the last 12 months, up 56%. If you're a longtime follower of the channel, you know that we've been buying the stock around $90 per share, under 100, even 105, 107, 115, and we were loading up at those prices. So we made a good swing trade. We're still holding a lot of our position for long term, but we also cashed out at the same time. In the group, by the way, in the stock market group, close friends list, we do swing trades, long-term investing, and lots of option calls and puts. Now, if we scroll down, we can see that there's a $2 trillion market cap on Google, one of the largest companies in the entire stock market. If we continue to scroll down, we can see that the last 3 quarters have been extremely well for Google as well. This is why it makes sense that the stock price is growing over time, is because they're growing those earnings quarter over quarter. This is not year over year growth. This is quarter over quarter growth, which is exceptional to see. Okay, and the most recent quarter coming up due on Tuesday 1-30, okay, January 30th, we have another expectation of growth higher for Google. And the question is, can they beat earnings? The answer is there's a good chance that they will be beating their earnings expectations. However, that doesn't always mean that the stock price is going to increase. Okay, so here's a great analyst article that I was reading that I want to share with you guys. We see Alphabet, Microsoft, and Meta close at all-time highs ahead of the earnings next week. Alphabet shares closed at $151 per share, surpassing their prior record high set in 2021. Microsoft and Meta also reached fresh highs this month, and they all report quarterly earnings next week, okay, starting with Alphabet. Alphabet shares climbed to a record joined by Microsoft and Meta, which we already went over. They climbed 2.1% to close at 151. The rally comes ahead of the quarterly earnings report next week from the mega cap tech companies. Investors are optimistic that a boom in artificial intelligence, along with cost-cutting measures like cutting jobs, is a big one that tech has been doing. It's been ballooning, the job cuts in tech, which is a good thing overall because they're saving money on payroll. Payroll is one of the biggest expenditures that companies have to fork out every single month. So if they can cut that and still be as proficient, that's a really bullish thing for a company overall. Broader economic growth, easing inflation, and the prospect of lower interest rates will enable the companies to continue producing impressive results moving forward. So this analyst is maintaining a buy rating on Alphabet in a note to investors this week, citing the company's strong position in the search and advertising market and sustained history of innovation and AI investment. And I think we could reread that sentence that the analyst put out because I 100% agree with that, and that's why I love the stock so much and where their competitive, durable advantage really comes from. Strong position in the search and advertising market. They have around 75% and a sustained history of innovation, which of course they have always been innovating. And they also have a huge grasp on the AI sector and AI investments moving forward. So those are the 3 key points of Google, you can make a note on why to be bullish over the next 5 to 10 years. Alphabet is expected to report revenue growth of 12% for this quarter, according to the analysts, which would be the fastest rate of growth since mid-2022. Alphabet shares jumped 58% last year and now are up 8% just to start 2024. Meta was the second best performer of the S&P 500 last year, almost doubling and only trailed by Nvidia, which was number one. The stock is up 11% in January, Facebook. Microsoft mimicked Alphabet's gain last year and is up almost 8% for the year thus far. Microsoft leads Alphabet in the cloud computing market, which is a very high growth sector of the market right now, where a lot of these companies like Amazon and Apple and Microsoft, they might not be gaining huge profit growth on their products like iPhones. They're not growing by hundreds of percent every single year or every single quarter, but the cloud sector right now is growing still at a rapid rate. So that's why a lot of analysts are always talking about the cloud sector. Okay, it's very important. Okay, even as the company's AI pursuit captures the most attention, which is Microsoft, we're excited about the promise of Microsoft's AI first mover advantage, but acknowledge that this is still a small 1% of the revenue and see cloud as the underlying demand engine turbocharging growth, the analyst wrote, who recommend buying the stock overall. Microsoft has eclipsed Apple as the world's most valuable company publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Wow, congratulations, Microsoft. So overall, it's going to be a very volatile week in the stock market. I'm pretty bullish on the week moving forward. If you want to see exactly what I'm doing, if I'm doing puts, if I'm doing calls, what stocks I'm specifically doing them on, make sure you reach out to me and just send me a DM at the Daily Stock Market on Instagram. Now 223,000 followers, 872 posts. Thank you guys for all the love and support you show on every single video, and subscribing on YouTube really means a lot. Also, I want to give a shout out to anyone who's been following for over a year now. We've been running the channel for around 4 years now. So whoever's been here that long, thank you so much. But in the last year, I know we gained a lot of loyal subscribers. So thank you guys. Share this video with a friend, and I will see you in the next video. Remember, don't time the market, buy the market. Peace.